You know, you see it on the schedule at the beginning of the year going, we're going to play at midnight. And then you go, oh, we don't turn on the lights. It's a big game out here. And I remember playing. It was great. We had a good time. There was a little part of the game where it gets a little dusk. But other than that, we played without any lights, so it was pretty cool.
The crowd was great. Something that everybody's really excited about. And we were, I was kind of curious to see what the turnout would be. Curious to see how I'd see the ball. And it was great. We really did had a good time. I mean, something that I'm never going to do again. I knew heading into that game, this is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. I'm never going to play a game at midnight before in the day, and I'm never going to do it again.
I pitched 2 or 3 innings. I ended the game pitching, but you know, being able to catch the last out at, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning in sunlight was pretty cool.
It was just like a regular day game that you played in college, where you played in a place that didn't have any lights, and it was like 5 or 6 o'clock, and you know, in the fall, and you knew it was getting dark, and you had to get the game over with. So, it was interesting.
It was fun because they get bigger crowds, and you know, it's one of those things you say you played a game at midnight, and the sun was high noon basically on that thing, and it's a really cool experience.
I was dark. I remember Kenny Jones was pitching for us, guy from Arizona State who ended up being one of my really good friends. He was throwing about 95 and nobody could see it. They didn't want to turn the lights on because of the mystique of the midnight sun, but it wasn't a good night to play it.
You know, they had the blanket where they get a person, I guess it's an Eskimo tradition, and they throw them up in the air, and whee, they're throwing up number 1, number 2 was higher, number 3, and they missed him. They dropped him.
The truly amazing thing is when I called people and said, yeah, I'm starting a game at midnight with no lights, and they were going, yeah, sure. This was the 60s. And what are you smoking?
Yeah, that was really strange. You don't see that well. So we're playing the first couple innings, but then it was like it was the middle of the day for the rest of the game. The last 7 innings was just like we have today right here.
You hear about it, but you know, I mean, it's an experience. You can explain it forever until you see it. You just don't believe it. And I forget what the date was. It must have been sometime in July or whatever. And it's the midnight sun, and they said that the sun would come down and then just come across the horizon and go right back up. I mean, it's like, you know, Fairbanks they all have, not all, but many places have aluminum foil on their windows so it can be dark at night so that people can sleep. But we started the game, I believe we started about 11 o'clock at night. And, you know, the sun came down, and, you know, at 1 o'clock it was back up over here. So, you know, people were ready for coffee and breakfast or whatever. It was very interesting, very, very interesting.